Hey drivers and dreamers. So I'm going to do a quick follow-up to last night's video about frenemies. And I got 2 phone calls and an apology today. I really appreciated all of them. But I realized that I was more focused on the negative last night, and there was one positive person that I didn't mention. And I think it's important that we recognize the positive and try to focus on that as much as possible, like I was talking about in the video last night. So several years ago, 5-ish maybe, I met a young man, and the crowd he was hanging with at the time, well, let's just say that they were making a whole lot of decisions that had very negative consequences, negative effects on their finances, on their health, on their emotional well-being, on their spiritual well-being. Just no good results from any direction you want to look at the consistent pattern of choices this group of people was making. And when I got into emergency medical services, they teach you to do a general impression. After you've become a seasoned medic or EMT, 30 seconds from the time you walk in the room and you look at your patient, you know, not sick, sick, critical. Boom, just like that, 30 seconds. And 99 times out of 100, you're spot on. Once in a while, you'll miss something. So you always have to keep in the back of your mind the possibility that you could be wrong. So after doing this general impression for patients, a dozen patients a day, 20 years, you start letting that way of doing your general impression bleed over into other areas. And it can be a positive thing as long as you manage it well. So the way my mind works, and I know a lot of other people are the same way, you see somebody and you form an immediate impression based on the way they conduct themselves, they're talking, the people they're hanging out with. You categorize them. And so I met this young man for the first time, and because of the group of people he was hanging out with on a social level, now you've got professional level, you don't really often or always get to choose who you are with on a professional level. So I'm discounting that. And if you're working with people, whether it be in a spiritual sense or psychological sense, or you're just trying to reach out and help somebody, that's a third category that I'm not dealing with. I'm dealing with the category in the middle where you're choosing to hang out with somebody on a social level. These are people that you're comfortable with because they're like you. They are somebody you're comfortable around because they make the same lifestyle choices. There's an old saying, show me your 5 best friends and I'll show you what your character is like. Or another saying says, birds of a feather flock together. You don't see turkeys up there flying around with eagles. You don't see chickens flying around with hawks. You just don't. Because people of a like mind congregate together. So I knew the group of people that this young man was hanging out with. And I was very familiar with the style and the type of choices that they made on a regular basis. And because through family connections or work connections or whatever, I'd had quite a few interactions with these people, and I had at times tried to encourage them, counsel with them, give them work, which quite often backfired on me. So I didn't always have positive interactions with these people, or the end result of the interactions we had wasn't always positive. For me, in a financial sense or a professional sense, because of the type of work they did, and sometimes I'd have to go back and fix it. So I immediately, within the first 15 minutes of being around this young man, had already in my mind placed him in a category. And didn't mean I was closed-minded to the fact maybe he has potential. Maybe he just needs somebody to show him a better way, show him there's other options in life, to show him that he can make different choices that will have different outcomes. But for the first year or so, there wasn't very many things that gave me any reason to change my initial categorization of this young man. But then the opportunity came up for him to, he needed some work, and I had some work that needed done, and he did a decent job. I wasn't, it left me open-minded for future interaction. So as time went on, I had the opportunity to have a few more, and there were ups and there were downs, as there always are with people. But overall, the young man began to impress me. And there were a lot of downs. There were still a lot of choices he made that made me realize I had properly categorized him. But as he had opportunities to better himself, I saw him trying to do that. And I saw him having difficulties with some of the people he had chosen to hang out with, and how he would give and give and give and go above and beyond to try to reconcile those issues in a way that often cost him. And especially as time went on down the road, not so much initially. He kind of had to grow out of his young and dumb ways, if you will, because he spent a lot of time hanging around a group of people that weren't the best influence on him. But as he matured, I watched a number of instances where deals were made and they would go bad, and he would be the one that would choose to be the loser in the deal from a financial perspective, in order to preserve relationships and to be able to make sure he could sleep good at night with a clear conscience. I personally witnessed him make the choice to lose money in a deal in order to keep family relationships together. I have a lot of respect for somebody when they'll do that, because I recognize a kindred spirit. I recognize somebody that values people and friendship over money. I've loaned my equipment out many, many times, not always gotten it back in the same condition I got it, that I loaned it out in, to family, to friends, not so much family, but within the friend group. And I've never complained, because when I see a need and I have the ability to fulfill that need, I've always tried to reach out and do that, many times to my cost. And it's not about money, it's about people. So I watched as this young man was learning to make those same type of decisions. And I don't mean being a doormat. I don't mean just intentionally allow yourself to be walked on and used and abused, but to sit back and think a situation through, decide where your priorities are, what's most important, and then choose to be the financial loser in a deal because you see the bigger picture down the road. And so as time went on, he began to gain my respect, and he ended up working for me quite a bit. And overall, for the majority of it, he was working himself out of the category I had initially placed him in into a much better category. Now, he's still learning. He's actively trying to better himself. He is actively distancing himself from his former friends, the former lifestyle, if you will, because he's maturing and he's starting to see the bigger picture in life, where some of his friends haven't reached that point yet, and they may. I hope they do. I'm by no means criticizing them. I'm just saying he's learning how to make better choices. He's seen a better way. Well, he called me today, and he wasn't one that I had mentioned in the video last night, and he didn't feel like he was, but he said, you know, I wanted you to know way back when I first met you and started hanging around in the community where I was. He said he had a lot of people tell me, don't drink the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid, stay away from Bones. He's no good, he's bad, he looks down on you, he'll treat you bad, he'll always take advantage of you. And he believed it, because why wouldn't he? He didn't know me. He'd met me, but he didn't know me. Keep in mind, a lot of this was from people who were living in my trailer park that I own and failing to pay rent on a regular basis, taking advantage of me and my generosity, and yet talking bad about me behind my back. So he said, I believed everything they told me. I didn't have any reason not to. But he said the more time I spent in the community and around these people, the more I watched how the things they were saying about you, about me, didn't match what he was seeing. And the more time he spent working around me, working for me, the more time he spent watching how I would bend over backwards to help somebody who had taken advantage of me in the past, and he was aware of that. He said, this just doesn't fit. The accusations don't fit what he saw taking place. And I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I'm just saying I would try to look at the bigger picture, the community picture, the family dynamics, the larger community family. And I would choose to overlook a lot of things. But as he sat back and watched, as he had an opportunity to do business with me, as he had an opportunity to watch business deals take place where he knew people were trying behind my back to take advantage of me, to steal from me, and then try to lie about me while they were doing that, he realized that what I said in the video last night, that I was being attacked. You know, the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. And he realized to a degree that that's what was going on. He realized that the devil was just attacking me from every angle that he possibly could. And that the devil was using people who were claiming to my face to be my friends, but behind my back were trying to tear me down. People that were actively full-time working for me, drawing far better paychecks than their level of education would provide them in any area of the open workforce. Sometimes double the monthly salary of what their current level of education in life and experience in life would be able to provide them anywhere else they went. And he saw that and he realized he'd been lied to. And he started saying, whoa, no, this isn't right. He started trying to stand up for me, and he immediately started getting a lot of flack. Started getting blacklisted, if you will. And I appreciate his loyalty. I appreciate his friendship, because friends who look through the lies and will sit back and say, okay, I hear what you're saying. Now I'm going to sit back and watch and see if it's true. Even if they first bought it because they had no reason not to. But out of all the people, this young man didn't know me as well as a lot of others who had had a lot of business dealings with me and always came out doing well financially, never once got cheated. He realized that there was an attack going on, and so he started standing up for me, and he lost some friendships over that, or what he had at that point thought was a friendship, and realized afterwards that he had chosen the wrong people to be friends with. So anyway, I just want to say, never give up. Keep your head up. There's still good men and women out there. Always watch your back. People you think are your friends will turn on you really, really quick over politics, religion, and money. Big time over money, and really, really quick. But every now and then you'll find somebody that values friendship and people more than money. So that young man's one of them, and he knows who he is. Again, I'm not naming any names. This isn't about calling anybody out or pointing anybody out. It's just about sharing my experience, because I hope that it will bless somebody else. I hope that what I'm sharing with you may help give you clarity in a situation you're dealing with, and help you know which direction to go in life. No matter which side you're on, whether you've bought into a bunch of lies not knowing it, but you're willing to step back and say, let me watch. Let me just stay open-minded. Let me see if the actions match the accusations. If they do, fine. Categorize them in that category. Choose a different direction in life to go. If they don't match, be willing to say, wait a minute, I've been watching and the actions are not matching the accusations. Be one of those good men, or be one of those good women that stands up for somebody else that's being treated unfairly, being lied about. Don't just go along with the crowd. Don't be part of the crowd. You know, I used to, I have 3 sons, all grown at this point. And growing up, I used to tell them, be the man. Be the man. First time I said it to them, they didn't know what I meant. So I explained to them. I said, be the man that stands head and shoulders above everybody else out there. I don't mean in stature. I mean in character. In the way you deal with life, in the way you treat other people. Be the man. Be the man that everybody looks up to. Be the man that when you walk into a room and the people there are not living the way they're supposed to, or not talking about things they're supposed to talk about, not participating in activities they're supposed to talk about, that the moment they see you walk in the room, suddenly everything changes. And they wait until you leave to go back into their old ways. Because they know you live to a certain standard. Because they know you have principles. And those principles make them uncomfortable. Not because you're preaching at them necessarily, not because you are running them down. They're just naturally going to feel like you look down on them. No matter how friendly or nice you try to be to them, they're going to feel that you look down onto them, because they know that you hold yourself to a higher standard. The standards that you've set for yourself are a higher standard in the way you pay people, in the way you do business with them, in the way you try to live your life, even though you're human and you're going to make mistakes. Be the man. Be the woman. So that's my spiel for the night. I've got a couple other really short videos, business related, that I'm going to throw out as well. So stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to say thank you to the 2 men one that's always stood by me, but he's known me since I was a young man, kid, and one that just met me a few years ago, didn't want to drink my Kool-Aid, but he drank everybody else's Kool-Aid, and he realized that it was poison, so he stopped drinking it. So it doesn't matter where you start, doesn't matter where you are today, the question is, Where will you be tomorrow